Could the New York Jets potentially try to orchestrate a trade for Devontae Adams? Plus, there's mutual interest in a Jamie and Sherwood Jets reunion. Could the Jets pull that off this offseason? A lot to get into. We'll cover that and much more. All coming up here on a Monday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, joined by our guy Nick Faria of Athlon Sports in his weekly spot.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk here on this Monday evening, March 3rd, 2025. I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button and you are subscribed to the channel on your way into the building. It's completely free, helps us grow significantly, hunting for 2,000 subscribers by the start of the 2025 NFL Draft, currently at 1,664. So hit that subscribe button, completely free, helps us grow significantly. That's the free way to contribute to the show. The paid way is getting in on our membership raffle. Every membership gifted or every $2.99 super chat will get you a ticket into our raffle, our biggest raffle we've done thus far. 7 prizes, including a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a Darrelle Revis signed photo, a Altoon signed photo, a Keyshawn Johnson signed photo, a Jericho Cotchery signed photo, a free item from our merch store channel emoji leaderboard for the prizes on down below. Make sure you get in our raffle if you haven't already. Can't thank you guys enough for all your support. You guys are the ones who keep the show going, and we're able to do this day in and day out because of you guys, so I can't thank you guys enough for that. But let's bring on our guest for today's show. Joining us here on his weekly spot, you all know him, covers the team for Athlon Sports, Nick Faria, joining us live here on the show. Nick, how you doing?
How you doing, Connor? Great to be back on.
Doing well. Super great to have you on. I know you were down at the Combine in Indy picking up some sourced news, talking all things New York Jets. You were on the Jake Asman show. Obviously, where I'm going to start, though, Nick, is news that came out yesterday. Rich Cimini did his weekly news dump for ESPN, and the main focal point of that story was Jordan Travis's agent basically coming out and blaming the Jets for multiple setbacks there. We also saw today that Jordan Travis removed everything Jets out of his social media bio. I've been very vocal on you can't expect anything out of Jordan Travis when it comes to his injury. Now you're seeing all these off-field distractions, the talks of the Jets potentially trying to draft a quarterback and add one here in free agency. Do you think there's a chance Jordan Travis might not be on this roster as we enter September 2025?
I think there's certainly a chance, particularly if the Jets go down the route. I know Zach Rosenblatt said you could definitely see the team sign a free agent and then draft a quarterback in the second or third round. I still am of the opinion if they're going after a quarterback in this draft, doesn't really make much sense to take one in the first round immediately after signing a guy like Justin Fields to what could be a $10-15 million deal. So it depends on what exactly the Jets are looking for from this draft class. If looking to draft a quarterback in the mid-round, certainly a free agent makes a lot of sense. But if they're looking to go out big game hunting, if you will, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense in that regard. And that kind of leaves Jordan Travis as the odd man out. I said before, I really liked him coming out of college. Had he not had his leg injury, I think he could have been a dark horse candidate for a late first-round pick. A team like the Giants could have traded in and gotten him. Other organizations as well that needed a quarterback but kind of punted that decision to future years, like the Tennessee Titans, certainly a possibility as well. But that injury really hurt him, and it's going to make things a lot harder. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and confirm or deny. It doesn't sound like the Jets ultimately tried to rush him, at least from the people that I've spoken to. The one thing they will say, and I think it's pretty clear, they essentially knew they were going to redshirt him from the beginning.
Exactly.
Robert Saleh said from the beginning of OTAs, he said, yeah, listen, we're not expecting that he's going to play this year. So I'm not going to say that the agent is wrong. I'm not saying that anyone is particularly wrong, but it doesn't make a lot of sense if an organization knew they weren't going to have a player this year to essentially try and rush his rehab. That doesn't really make much sense to me. So, again, the people that I've spoken to essentially have said, listen, there was a workout plan from his surgeon. They all thought that they agreed on it. maybe this is a way for Travis to essentially say, listen, I don't want to be a part of a team that's clearly going to move on from me this offseason anyway. Maybe this is just a ploy for him to get to a certain place that he thinks he could be. Whatever it ends up being, I think it's not going to really matter because there's a good chance he's probably not on the roster in a couple of months.
Now, Nick, I agree with you 1,000% there. My whole thing is, you mentioned the Jets were in; they were expecting him to be a red shirt for the entire season.
They said it like he said it multiple times. Every single time we talked about Jordan Travis, it was, yeah, he's progressing along, not really doing football stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was no expectation that he was going to be there, and most fans understood. Listen, he's coming off a gruesome injury. Don't expect this guy to be available right away. It didn't make sense if that was the case.
Agreed. And it wasn't like the Jets drafted Jordan Travis in the second round and they expected him to come in and compete. Exactly. They expected him to come in and compete for the starting job, be a backup. They had Aaron Rodgers, who didn't miss a step due to injury this past season. They had Tyrod Taylor, who is a more than serviceable backup. When you even had Adrian Martinez, who showed something in the preseason. It's not like the Jets were, Jordan Travis, we need you to be healthy. We need you to come out on the field.
Right.
We need you to compete for the starting job. He's someone who you draft him, maybe you'll get something out of him. That's someone who
in the future too. Like you see what you can get after 2024.
You're just taking the swing, just a swing at the pinata, if you will, when it comes to drafting Jordan Travis in the 5th round. Now there's obviously talks that he won't be on the team in 2025. Speaking of someone who might not be on the team in 2025, Davante Adams. Nick, we're hearing yesterday from Ian Rappaport. Obviously, it's expected the Jets are to move on from Davante Adams after they are going to move on from Aaron Rodgers. But Ian Rappaport said the Jets are now taking calls on Davante Adams. And then right before the show, we heard from Tony Pauline, who said he was talking to people down at the Combine, and basically the Jets are expected to release Davante Adams. Do you have anything there? Could you confirm or deny anything that the Jets have already informed Davante Adams which direction they are going in? Do you have anything there?
I think we all understand where this is going. We don't need a very long fishing rod here to figure it out. Listen, the Jets can look to trade Davante Adams all they want, but he's going to carry a near $30 million cap hit. Which team on the planet is going to want to take that for a receiver that's over 30, could be past his prime at this point? There's just no one that will. So the Jets can look for any trade partner they want, but at the end of the day, everyone and their mother knows this guy's getting cut. He carries a salary cap. They're going to save close to $30 million with the release as a pre-June 1st release. That'll put them well over $50 million in salary cap space. They can look to trade him all they want. It's not happening. We all know it's coming. He's going to get released at some point, and it's to be expected.
Now, here's my thing with Davante Adams, Nick. I was live when the news came out for me in Rappaport yesterday. Everyone was, Deebo Samuel just went for a 5th-round pick. Davante Adams is a far better receiver. You can get a 4th for him. I said, whoa. His numbers, Davante Adams' numbers this past season were significantly better than Deebo Samuel, but Deebo Samuel has a $17 million cap hit this coming season. Davante Adams has a $38 million cap hit, who was just dealt for pretty much a 3rd-round pick this past season. Obviously, an in-season trade the Jets made in desperation to try and revive the season that obviously didn't work out. My whole thing is, I think the best offer you're getting for Davante Adams is a 5th or a 6th-round pick. And at that point, I would rather just cut him, like you said, with that June 1 designation, save all that money, and you now have that to spend, rather than trade him, okay, and then you recoup a day 3 pick. For me, the cap space is far more important. That could be the difference to unlocking a Justin Reed in free agency, a Javon Holland type guy if he doesn't officially get tagged, someone of that nature. So personally, I'm taking the cap space over the day 3 pick. Jamie Sherwood, Nick, he's someone, Zach Rosenblatt, who's been vocal on, mutual interest for the Jets and Jamie Sherwood to, get something in paper. They want him back on this team. He's obviously someone who wasn't homegrown by this regime, but a homegrown talent. Drafted him out of Auburn on day 3, converted from safety to linebacker at the NFL level. Really, really special player, and he showed that this past season. It looks like Sherwood's pretty much going to command around $10 to $15 million next season. Do you think the Jets are going to be able to get this done?
Yeah, I think they will. Jamie Sherwood, I would like to say that I was the first one banging the drum that this guy could actually play and could play at a very high level. I thought he was phenomenal this year overall. Quite frankly, as a fan of a team that's not currently in the discussions, if Sherwood's going to walk in free agency and Zach Bonner is walking in free agency, I'll gladly see Philadelphia try and go after him. Like he's that good. I think he can be the next great linebacker in this league because he's still only 24 years old. He's done a remarkable job in getting to this point. But I do think at the end of the day, he is going to be a priority for the Jets. I felt this for the last couple of months. It just doesn't make sense to let him walk. It doesn't make sense for the Jets to sit there and say, we prefer CJ Mosley at 31, 32 years old, coming off of a year where he just dealt with so many injuries, over a young, faster, and right now better player than Jamien Sherwood. It just doesn't make sense to me in that regard.
Now, Nick, I know we only got a few more minutes left with you, so a few more names I want to get your thoughts on here. Tyler Conklin and Morgan Moses. We've heard conflicting reports regarding these two guys. Connor Hughes of SNY has said that he expects the Jets to move off of both Tyler Conklin and Morgan Moses in free agency. However, Zach Rosenblatt in his piece today came out and said he expects the Jets to pretty much do everything they can to bring back Morgan Moses and Tyler Conklin. Look, the way I look at it, these guys aren't elite players, if you will, at their position groups. Morgan Moses is someone, we spoke about him a few weeks ago here on the show, Nick. You mentioned how durable he is, the leader he is, his ability to play through injuries, great locker room guy who's, when he's on the field, he's average. He's an average starting right tackle. And I think moving off of Morgan Moses is pretty much just creating an unnecessary hole for a team that already has a lot of holes. Same goes for Tyler Conklin, someone who isn't the most productive tight end you'll see in the NFL, but someone who can, get you 500, 600 yards a season, who's productive, get you a couple touchdowns, bring them both back 1 year, $5 million, 1 year, $7 million, something like that. And I just don't understand why the Jets would not be able to do that.
No, but I will say I do think they're going to move on from at least one of them. And I do think they'll probably move on from Conklin. I think Morgan Moses is a no-brainer return because if there's one thing the Jets haven't had over the last few years, it's continuity along the offensive line. Whether it was moving off from Mekhi Becton, not having Tyron Smith, having 13 different line combinations and 13 different players starting the year prior. They need continuity along the offensive line. And if you can get Moses back on a 1-year team-friendly deal with Fashanu and Simpson and Tippmann and AVT, that's a really solid offensive line. I would argue it's probably the best overall, the best feeling Jets fans could have about their offensive line in over a decade. Yeah. And yes, Moses is old. But why would you create a need at right tackle when you have needs along the edge? You have needs at defensive tackle. You need at quarterback. You need a receiver. You need a safety. It seems like you're unnecessarily opening up a position of need at this point.
Agreed. And you mentioned that offensive line group there. That's just pretty much the way it looks on the roster right now. This tackle class, like, you could find some solid talent, like Wyatt Millam, for example, from West Virginia, is someone who could be interesting as a round 3 pick. Hollins Pierce from Rutgers, his measurables down at the combine were absolutely insane. So again, Morgan Moses isn't someone who's going to come in and be a top 5 starting right tackle for you. That veteran guy you could bring in for $5 million next season, kind of help groom, that next right tackle, and add some depth, whether that's, you want to take a flyer on Dredrick Wills, who is a free agent first-round pick in 2020 by the Browns. You bring him in also for $5 million, kind of have him and Moses battle it out. And then those are two pretty overall solid right tackles. Staying with the topic of offensive line, Max Mitchell, Carter Warren, Nick, what do the Jets do with them?
I think they'll probably bring him back on team-friendly deals. I think Warren still has it's not Warren. Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're both signed under contract. I don't think they're going to want to move them. I think they would prefer to have these guys stick together for continuity purposes. But I also will say, I think one piece of the puzzle, at least at pass catcher, with the Raiders essentially shopping Michael Mayer, which everyone and their mother could have realized was going to happen the minute they drafted Brock Bowers, it's kind of a realization that the Jets made the right decision to draft Olu Fashanu over Brock Bowers. And I know fans are going to look at Brock Bowers' historically great rookie season with the Raiders and say, the Jets missed the pick. But if Bowers is the tight end and you still need a left tackle, this isn't the draft class to find him. This offensive line draft class is nowhere near as good as last season's. So the Jets made the right pick going with Olu Fashanu at 11. They always made the right pick. I was continuously banging the drum that this was the move they needed to make if they weren't going to get quarterback, and that's exactly what they did. I thought it was a very smart pick. I loved what I saw from Fashanu on tape his rookie season. I think he's going to have a great overall career. And even though you're missing out on Brock Bowers, a guy like Michael Mayer could be available in a trade to give the Jets an opportunity to see what he has at the tight end position. This is a very deep tight end draft class. Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. He's been fantastic in
Harold
the
Fannin.
process. All these guys are available. Why would you draft Brock Bowers when you have a deep tight end class the year after and ignore the tackle position in a weaker class the following year? They made the right decision in regards to that, and I think you're going to end up seeing that when this team eventually drafts a tight end eventually in this draft.
And Nick, one thing I want to add there is I look at it for fans who said they wanted to take Brock Bowers. Realistically, comparing and contrasting these two classes, who would you rather have, Brock Bowers and Will Campbell, or Olu Fashanu and Tyler Warren? Personally, I'm taking Olu Fashanu and Tyler Warren.
Of course.
Look, you get that left tackle of the future in Olu Fashanu, obviously. And Will Campbell, while I think he's a solid tackle prospect, I don't even think it's a guarantee that he is going to be able to have that longer career at tackle. Like, there's still concerns that upright stance he plays with. There's talks that he might actually have to slide into guard at the next level. Or like you mentioned, he might have to be a right tackle. He's no, cornerstone left tackle type guy like Olu Fashanu is. And while Tyler Warren isn't the prospect that Brock Bowers is, he still has the potential to come in. He has a high floor, the way I look at him. A yak machine, that traditional weight size for an NFL tight end, 6'6", 260 pounds. So if I had my pick, if I could do it all over again, I'm taking Olu Fashanu with Tyler Warren over Brock Bowers and Will Campbell without a question. Nick, can't thank you enough for hopping on with me tonight. You got any final thoughts?
No, I think we're almost a week away from the start of NFL free agency. It's one of the best times of the year. I will just stress to everyone, as always, day one of free agency doesn't always win you a Super Bowl. It may have happened this past year for a certain team, but it does not always guarantee that a team is going to be successful with their day one signings. The Jets came out pretty good with their first haul last year with John Simpson. He's been a revelation with this team. Tyrod Taylor could be the starting quarterback this season. Day one is always a crapshoot. Patiently wait, and you guys will find a team. They're going to find and build this roster the way they want to do it. Whether right, wrong, or indifferent, we don't know yet. And we're not going to know until the season starts. But there's a plan in place, and everyone just needs to take a step back and let that plan come to fruition.
Nick, appreciate you hopping on. As always, have a great night.
Of course, man. Thank you.
Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Faria checking in here on the program. Follow him on Twitter at Nick_Fario 1720. Read his work at athlonsports.com. Truly one of the best Jets beat reporters you will find on the entire internet. So shoot him a follow, shoot him a sub. Nick's the best, joining us here on the show every single Monday evening. So really looking forward to our weekly conversations with Nick. We had him on 2 weeks ago, first time in his weekly spot. Last week he couldn't do because of the combine and the Indy, but now we're going to be in full swing until the season starts with Nick. The whole offseason, we have Nick and all of our weekly guests. So really looking forward to it, and I couldn't do this without you guys. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button. You are subscribed to the channel. Throw all your questions in the chat. I will be sure to get to those if you want to call into the show. You could do so with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Jeffrey freaking R, baby. 20 gifted memberships. Jets. Jeffrey R. That is 20 raffle tickets for you. A 20 pack of Connor Long memberships. Jeffrey, thank you so much, my man. I can't thank you enough for all your support. Here on the show, 20 names to read. Let's go. Mother F. Fing Chu, Matthew Smith, Charleston Jets Rube, Indy Jets, Thomas Pohl, Keith Kirkwood, Allen, Bobbleneck, Carl Duncan, Cantu Ringe, Darnell Towns, KJ, Dub74, Michael DiArmo, Bada Bing, Jonathan Alvarez, Stephen NYC, Danette Randall, Big Will, The Underrated Darkness. You are all channel members. Thanks to Jeffrey R., who comes in with 20 freaking gifted memberships, baby. Give it up for Jeffrey R. in the chat. Give him some dono hype. Jeffrey, thanks so much. And you're now in our raffle. Tons of prizes this month if you guys are unaware and you want to get into it. A Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a Darrelle Revis signed photo, an Al Toon signed photo, a Keyshawn Johnson signed photo, a Jericho Cotchery signed photo, a free item from our merch store, and a channel emoji. I can't thank you guys enough for all of your support here on the program. You guys are the best. I appreciate it. As always, Like I said, any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll get to those if you want to call into the show. You could do so with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. But even before we get to any comments, to get any questions, to take your calls, Jeffrey R., 20 more gifted memberships, up to 40 gifted memberships on this show alone. Jeffrey, thank you so much for all your support. It really, really means a lot. Arsenal Jets, Planet for Us, Thomas Bongavi, Todd Groves, Love Bites, Nathan Schiffer, Lindell's J, Roy Spencer are all channel members. It appears we've maxed out on memberships for today. So if you want to support the show, if you want to get into our membership raffle today, at least do so. Every $2.99 super chat will get you a raffle ticket. So $50 super chat, do the math after the show. That gets you X amount of raffle tickets because the memberships don't work right once we max out. Those should be fixed tomorrow. But yeah, if you want to support the show today, if you want to get in our raffle, super chatting your raffle tickets in, super chatting your questions in is the way to do so because it appears we've been maxed out on memberships. I appreciate all your support. Appreciate you guys as always. Jeffrey, you're the best. 40 gifted memberships on today's show. I can't thank you enough for all your support. You're the best. Matthew, trade up for Cam Ward. Look, Cam Ward falls to 7 for me. I think about it for sure. Cam Ward is not the quarterback I look at, especially when I look at next year's class. He's the guy I want to give up multiple first round and second round picks to go up for. He's not that guy for me. He isn't. I like him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback to the next level. He's a great playmaker and improviser. Great arm flexibility overall. Solid arm talent. Some of the things I don't like overall is just protecting the football. He has to limit more predetermined pre-snap reads and decisions, and he has athletic ability. He just doesn't know how to use it yet. I'm not on the train of trading up for Cam Ward by any means. That's where I am. I'm waiting till next year to take my franchise guy. Or if he falls at 7, I think about it for sure. But he's not the guy I look at, and I give up multiple first-round picks for him. Jets Worldwide comes in, says Conklin was getting busy towards the end of the season. Look, that's what I was saying to Nick. He's someone you could bring back $5-7 million next season. He's going to get you 500 yards a season. He's going to be productive for you in the red zone when you rely on him. Like, he's solid. Last year, 72 targets, 51 catches, 449 yards, 4 touchdowns. I'll sign that guy for $5 million. Who's a veteran presence, who's a great locker room guy. He's 29. We're talking about bringing him back on a 1-year deal. Why not? I don't see the downside there. When you already have so many holes on your roster, especially tight end. Jeremy Ruckert, I think, should be cut. Kenny Yeboah is a pending free agent. Strong chance he doesn't come back. Zach Kuntz, I don't think, is an NFL rosterable player. Like, you're already going to need to add a few tight ends. You might as well bring someone back who's been productive for you these past few seasons. That's where I am on Conklin. My whole Morgan Moses debate. You're just creating an extra hole. Where were we in the chat? Caden, trade Devontae for Mike Mayer. The Raiders would never do that. They just traded away Devontae Adams. Caden, the Raiders just traded away Devontae Adams. They would not bring him back in exchange for Mike Mayer. They literally traded him so they could create more cap room. They're not going to pick him up on the same contract, $38.5 million. I don't think they're going to do that by any means. Jets Worldwide, when it comes to free agents, you're supposed to get what you pay for. Yeah, 1,000%. And $5 million, I think, in the NFL equates to around 500 yards and 4 touchdowns on 51 catches. That's what $5 million, I think, equates to for a tight end. Yeah, you mentioned Conklin getting busy. The end of the season, we hit that. Jack Tuck's Jets, our guy in the house. Great take, Connor. I couldn't agree with you more. Jack, appreciate you tuning in. You want to call in? You want to hop on with me? Anyone wants to hop on, talk the Jets with myself? Call in with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. We'll get you up on the screen. Talk Jets. Matthew Smith says Amon Membu greater than Will Campbell, and Membu might be the same 1v1 prospect as Olu, but Olu is a left tackle. Membu's interesting. I was watching him the other day. Not too high on him. I'm gonna be honest. I have a second round grade on him. Like, look, he's twitched up. He's an explosive mover overall. Raw strength, natural power. He's 6'3", 332 pounds. It's hilarious. He's huge. He's huge. He has that imposing demeanor when he plays with the sustained skills and power really to deliver those big body hits. Those big body hits as a finisher, which I like about him, but it tends to drop his eyes as defenders work off and attempt to really slip his drive blocks overextended, leaves him off balance. I don't want the Jets to take a tackle. If they do take a tackle, for me, in my opinion, if they do take a tackle, it's Ozzy Trapillo. If he's somehow there in the third round, you get him in a trade back. 6'7", 32 pounds. Grew up in the Northeast, played at Boston College, solid burst and quickness, close to the ground really, really well. I'm a huge fan of Ozzy Trapillo. They want to go tackle. Hollins Pierce is another one from Rutgers who was really, really productive. His measurables at the combine were insane. I really like Hollins Pierce. Matthew, 260 is not ideal for a tight end, by the way. It's 242 to 248. For a 6'6", you're talking about like a 6'3" tight end. That's who you're talking about, Matthew. I'm talking about a 6'6" tight end, 260 pounds is ideal. Yeah, JoJo's talking about Membu here. I was watching Membu yesterday. Where were we in the chat? Jack, Connor, what do you think of NFL insiders claiming Shedeur Sanders being very arrogant about the combine? We don't need that on our team. We heard that from Josina Anderson, and it was really, really interesting because she was very specific. A team in the top 7 said, quarterbacks coach. That leaves me to think Charles London. Why couldn't she say top 10? Why did she need to say top 7? A little too specific there overall from Josina. I think it was the Jets. I don't think he's arrogant. From what I've seen, he's very, very humble. I don't want him in general, though. Even if he is that humble guy we've seen him made out to be, I don't want him. He comes with too much luggage, and I don't think he's all that great of a quarterback. He's my quarterback 3 this year. Look, he doesn't utilize his athleticism that well. Really, really drifts in the pocket. He's someone who, the sense of, not comparing him to Zach Wilson straight up, but has that same trait as Zach Wilson. He's going to, when pressure bears down, he drifts all the way back. He runs 10, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage instead of stepping into the ball, stepping up and trying to make a big play. That concerns me. Not a crazy athlete, doesn't have crazy, crazy arm talent. I'm not too big on Shedeur. Jeffrey, trade down, if anything. I agree. Thing is, you're going to need to find someone to trade down with. Who's coming up for who? Like if Mason Graham falls, you're not particularly in love with him. Sure, maybe you do something there. One of the quarterbacks falls, someone wants to come up for Dart. Dart's their guy. Who knows? Jeffrey, Jeremy Ruckert to be cut. He has to be cut. I'm tired of the Long Island this, the Long Island that. He was flat out. I don't say this about many players. I respect all NFL players, obviously, but I don't say this about many players. He was a liability for the Jets this past season. There's no other way to put it. He was a flat out liability. He can't block for crap. Couldn't catch the freaking ball. He couldn't catch the ball. The amount of times he was wide open in space and it was boom, drop. Give me Kenny Aboa over Jeremy Ruckert all day. I don't care that Kenny Aboa might cost more to extend than just rolling with Jeremy Ruckert, who's on your roster. But at least Kenny Aboa, he was a solid receiving option at times. He gives you special teams value. He's able to block. Jeremy Ruckert can't do either one of those things for you. And by the way, he can't run block either. He's liability there as well. There's no point in keeping Ruckert. I don't do the Long Island native. Oh my God, you got to keep him Long Island native, give him another shot. No. Jets took Jeremy Ruckert over Isaiah Likely. Massive underrated mistake. Massive underrated mistake. Jeffrey, I want you. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you both show me exactly. I don't get the love. I understand he's a Long Island kid. We can only play that narrative for so long. There's a time we need to look at this guy and look, he's a real football player. I don't give a crap where he's from. He's a freaking liability on the field. He provides you no value whatsoever. Fastest food reviews, our guy Chef Kevin in the building. That's a raffle ticket for you. Chef Connor, bro, never changed. Great show. Chef, appreciate you tuning in as always, and I can't thank you enough for all your support here on the show. Chef and I actually met at a training camp practice this past summer, so it was great to meet Chef. Chef, appreciate the super chat as always, and I can't thank you enough for all your support. I'm tired of the Long Island love with Jeremy Ruckert. I live on Long Island. I grew up here. I'm a Long Island native. I don't do that crap. You look at him as a real football player. He's not a good football player. That's the way you look at Jeremy Ruckert. I'm tired of that. Tired of the Long Island excuse. We can only do that for so long. Only do that for so long. Our Lions fan, David D, is in the building. If the Lions don't tender RFA tight end Shane Zystra is how you say it. Let's see. And they don't work out a contract agreement, I think he's going to be of interest to the Jets tight end. This is interesting. I get let me pull up his numbers. Shane Zystra. Shane. Going to PFF, pull up his numbers. Probably similar to Brock Wright. He just doesn't have enough. Yeah. 1 reception last year, 22 yards. He isn't even eligible for their grading. He didn't play enough. Give me Brock Wright before I take him, David. Just hasn't shown me enough. I don't like these unproven. Like, at this point, you might as well just freaking sign Conklin for $5 million. I'd take that over paying Shane Zystra the veteran minimum next season. Or paying a tight end in free agency. How about you do that? It doesn't even have to be elite money. Like adding Jawan Johnson, someone I spoke about in one of my videos. New Jersey native. Mo Ali Cox from the Colts is a free agent who would fit this scheme beautifully. Gerald Everett is another name to even look out for. Mike Gesicki from the Bengals, solid pass catcher. Wouldn't mind him. See any other names that come to the top of my head? John Bates, I know, is someone that Connor Hughes of SNY mentioned. Those are the guys I'm looking at right now. Jack says, Connor, what game, parentheses, games, are you looking forward to go this season if you go? So early, Jack. I normally wait till the schedule comes out. Another Jets content creator and I are trying to, we're going to probably get a meetup. We're probably going to do a meetup for one of the games together. So, if you guys want to come out, MetLife, represent Jet Life Stadium, we'll get that. I'll try to get that info in as soon as possible, but it's probably not going to come out till May when the schedule comes out and we can evaluate it. It really depends on the schedule, Jack. There aren't any opponents I look at and I circle that as a game I really want to go to, a team I really want to see. So it depends on like the timing and stuff, what works best. Preferably, all the games are going to be at Sunday at 1. I was going to say preferably an afternoon game, but all the games are going to be at Sunday and on Sunday at 1 this year. Ladies and gentlemen, no more primetime games, unfortunately, for those who like them until the Jets are able to actually show something. Thomas. People need to put respect on Sanders' name. He made his team relevant, put up numbers, and had no run game. He's tough. He's a solid player. I just don't want him at 7. Too much luggage comes with him. I don't think he's that crazy of a player, that much of a game changer, where I think he's worth it at pick 7. So that's where I am on Shedeur Sanders. He has potential to be a really, really solid quarterback at the NFL level. I just don't want to take that risk at 7. I have a second-round grade on him personally. Jeffrey trade for Sam Laporta. That's not happening. But if somehow the Lions take calls for Sam Laporta, what do you even offer him? Like, what is Sam Laporta's trade value? Just a massive question. So tough to predict. A 1 and a 3? 2, 1. Like, so hard to predict what his market will look like. He's not going anywhere, though. I don't think he's going anywhere. Caden, Michael Mayer for a 4th. Starters get moved for less. Caden, no way. Most I give up for Mike Mayer is like a 5th-round pick. Again, you're going to give up draft capital to trade for Michael Mayer, who, again, like, he could be a solid piece, but he hasn't shown anything. Like, 2 years in the NFL, 460 yards, 2 touchdowns, and you want to give up a 4th-round pick for that? Again, at that point, plunk the $5 million for Jawan Johnson. Plunk the $3 million for Mo Ali Cox. Plunk the $9 million for who's the other guy I was thinking of? Mike Gesicki. I'm not paying Mike Mayer. I'm not giving up a 4th-round pick for Mike Mayer. Can't move him for more than Depot. That's crazy. Jack, crazy that we only had like less than 5 games at home at one this year. Don't understand the comment. Crazy that we had like less than 5 games at home and 1 this year. Jack, let's see how many home games. They had 8 home games this past season. They had 8 home games. Jeffrey says that was a joke. I was about to say, there's no way. There was absolutely no way that the Lions would take calls for Sam Laporta. No way. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button. And you are subscribed to the channel. I can't thank you enough for all your support here on the show. Keep the questions coming. We'll get to those. Stay on here a little longer. Last chance to call into the show. The pinned comment at the top of the chat. Last chance to get your questions, comments, thoughts in. Last chance to get into our membership raffle for today's show. Join our Discord down below in the description. Great way to interact with the community. Completely free. Plus, I'm recording with a special guest on Wednesday, and there won't be a live show Friday, unfortunately, so that will be airing at 8 p.m. on Friday, replacing our normal live show. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it live on Friday, but you guys know your boy still has content coming out for you at the same time. It will be scheduled as a live stream. So if you want to find out who that guest is and you want to have the opportunity to ask him questions ahead of time, since it won't be live, or recording Wednesday evening, join the Discord where you will have the opportunity to find out who that guest is and have the opportunity to ask them questions. Link in the description down below here on the stream. That's how you can join our Discord. I'll even throw the link in the chat for those who cannot find the description. Join our Discord, exclusive channel updates, great conversation with several Jet fans, and again, opportunity to ask these pre-recorded guest questions. So Discord in the name, the link to the Discord is in the description below, and I just threw it in the live chat. So join the Discord if you haven't already. Great way to support the show, and a lot of perks obviously come along with it. So join the Discord. Are there any guys? Here's something I wanted to throw in off topic. Throw anyone in the chat who you think should get a channel emoji. We have so many channel emoji spots left, and I want some of the listeners to get channel emojis. So you guys throw in the chat who should get a channel emoji for fun, and then I'll take all the suggestions and I'll try to make some stuff. So let me know in the chat. All you guys, come in, throw a few names. Who do you guys think should get a channel emoji? That will be used for members only. We just released the Jeffrey R emoji after he won it during our membership raffle. Obviously, Jeffrey has a membership raffle. Let me know some of the listeners who would like membership emojis, and we will make it work. Jeffrey, with all these memberships, we're gonna give you a second one. We gotta give you a second one. Jeffrey, I know we email occasionally. Email me you want anything else, because I know you had a tough time coming up with what you wanted, and then we finally got it to work. You come up with anything else, hit me up with an email. Boom. It'll be done in 10 minutes. I got you, Jeffrey. Really, really cannot thank you enough for all your support. I'll add it right after the show. You're now into first place with 40 gifted memberships on the month. So, Jeffrey already, you guys already have to catch up to Jeffrey, because Jeffrey, one of the most generous listeners here on the show, and I can't thank Jeffrey enough for all the support. And I can't thank him. I can't thank all you guys really in general for all the support that you guys have shown. The raffle, liking the video, hitting subscribe, which I know some of you can't gift. I know some of you can't super chat, which is completely fine. The way that you guys can contribute, though, that is completely free, is hitting that like button and hitting subscribe. That's what keeps the show. That's what keeps the show flowing. So I can't thank you guys enough for that. Appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe. Last chance to get your questions, comments, thoughts in here. Last chance to call into the show before we wrap. Some exclusive news for those in here right now. You guys will find out about it first. Not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. From 2 Saturdays from now, leading all the way up until the NFL draft. Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cole Thompson, our draft analyst, Cole Thompson, will be joining us in a weekly spot. So really looking forward to that. We got an exciting show, that weekly show that I'll be launching on Sundays. Announcement on that to come soon. But we're joined by Nick, obviously, tonight. Gunny from New York Jets Situation Report, and his weekly spot tomorrow. Matt O'Leary, fellow Jets content creator, joining us in his weekly spot on Wednesday. Thursday, we are still putting something together. So TBD on the guest on Thursday. I'll let you know on that tomorrow. Friday is more my interview with the special guest. Will be airing, and then Saturday, again, still working something like that because Cole Thompson joins us 2 Saturdays from now, and then Sunday, Dylan Terraman of Jet Nation at 9:45 a.m. And then we got a special second show that day cooking up. That'll also be something weekly with a few of the other Jets content creators, a roundtable style show. So really looking forward to that. Can't thank you guys enough. Any suggestions for guests you want to have on? Throw them in the Discord. Join the Discord. That's where you can throw some suggestions. Jeffrey says, rocket me to the moon, Connor. So you want a Jeffrey R emoji of rocketing to the moon. We can make something work. I'll email it to you, and I will let you know. I'll let you know what I think. And I'll ask. I'll let you put your input and then what you want to see. I'll put it together tonight. I'll email it to you hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning, and then I want to get your thoughts. So yeah, appreciate you guys as always. That's the guest schedule this coming week. Any guests you want to see on the show, like I said, throw them in the Discord. Throw them in the chat. Can't thank you guys enough for all your support. That'll do it for me here on this Monday evening, March 3rd, 2025. Just tuning in. Rewind first 15 minutes of the show, joined by Nick Farry of Athlon Sports. And his weekly spot, like I said, can't thank you guys enough for all your support here on the show. That'll do it for me. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing things off here on a Monday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, JETS, 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 Jets.